Welcome back to the Jacob Wayne Show. I am your Jacob Wayne. No upfront pitter-patter this time either. One of these days I'm going to do that, but nothing to really go over. Just trying to catch up on artwork on my end. So let's get right into it. This is a fun one. We have our movie reviews with Dan, but rather than a talking music with Kelin up front, that's going to be the second segment as he watches Cats with Dan and I. And that'll be explained as we get to it, but it's sort of our Cats review watch along mystery science theater-y kind of thing. You'll see. Welcome back, Dan, to another Chattin Movies. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Just spent some time in the studio today mixing a new song for my band Gamma Pa. And that's really all I've had on my mind lately. There's no sucking tongue Dalai Lama stuff or Tucker Carlson sucking the Dalai Lama's tongue. Like, nothing that interesting to me lately.
Yeah.
Except
Joe
Biden's running again.
Oh, as if that's a big surprise.
Yeah. But no need to get into politics unless there's actually something genuinely interesting or exciting about it. So, let's just get right into the movies. As you all may know, since we've been regularly putting out the podcast again, one of the things Dan and I have been working on is our Master Stephen King list. So we've been watching a shit ton of that, but can't watch Stephen King every single day. So we are going to just go over the movies we've been watching that aren't Stephen King. And so the last one we left off with, I believe, was American Rickshaw. But I could be wrong there. But so we're going to start off again with one we watched. We're getting caught up here, which I like. But I can't remember the day we watched it. It was almost like 2 weeks ago, something like that. The movie is Thunderpants. Now, the listener might be sitting there thinking, Thunderpants? I've never heard of Thunderpants. And that's probably...
There's a good reason.
Yeah. Came out in 2002. Probably got buried after 9/11. The audiences were sensitive to fart fuel comedy.
They couldn't handle the Thunderpants.
No.
It was too sad of a time.
Yeah. The plot is an 11-year-old boy's amazing ability to break wind leads him first to fame and then to death row, before it helps him to fulfill his ambition of becoming an astronaut. Bruce Cook, who I don't believe is in any other movies, is the main kid who is born with the amazing ability to fart, like, powerfully. Like, it could be a source of fuel, essentially. And of course he's teased at the very beginning, but then he meets his friend, played by Rupert Grint, who is actually like not a household name, surprisingly. I don't recognize the name very well. But that's, what's his face from Harry Potter?
Ron.
Yeah. Ron. Yeah, I don't know my Harry Potter very well either, so maybe Rupert Grint is a household name and I'm just being ignorant.
I mean, he's pretty famous.
Well, I know, as I blank on him. Damn. Yeah, it's been a minute. Okay, who's Harry?
Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe, I know that name.
Yeah,
just took me a minute. I know Hermione, which is...
Nailed it.
What's her face? Shit, it's been a minute. Can't think of him.
Oh, what is her name? How did I forget that
I don't
one?
know. It's just drawing blanks, I guess.
That has been a while.
It'll come back to us in the middle of like the third movie we talk about. But no, I think those two, their names a little more well known than Rupert Grint. I'll just make that argument.
Emma Watson.
Emma
Emma
Watson,
Watson.
yeah. The philanthropist who's no longer an actress, Emma Watson.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got off point here. That is kind of the thing that made us curious, though, is we do this thing every Thursday where we watch movies that are so bad they're good. Red Letter Media does something similar. It's called Best of the Worst. I'm sure there's other podcasts or YouTube shows that do it, but I mean, we have our own fun with it. And on Thursdays, we try to find movies that are terrible. And to go over it quickly, I have to make this distinction because when you start talking about it, it's like my trash candy playlist on Spotify. It's like people are like, oh, like stuff that's just like stupid and silly, like on purpose. And you're like, no, no, no. Like the director had to be kind of trying for something, like other than just being a silly fart comedy. Like they were really like trying to do more. Or it's like the comparison I always make is Sharknado compared to The Room. Sharknado is obviously a joke done on the cheap to be put on Sci-Fi Channel, whereas The Room is like Tommy Wiseau's like madness on screen, and he's just trying to make his movie. Like, why is it tearing me apart? Like, he's really trying. At least it feels that way. We watched Suburban Sasquatch. That guy had a message. And it was a terrible fucking movie, but it was hilarious. I think we did talk about Robot in the Family.
Yep.
Another one
did.
that I don't think they intended it to be as insane and terrible and hilarious as it is. It's like, it was supposed to just be, yeah, it's a movie you watch with the kids. And so to get back to Thunderpants, it's one of those movies, but I think it's like one of the most well-made, terrible movies we've watched. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's on one of the top ones. I should probably mention the director also directed Garfield, the CGI one, and
Oh.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. So the second
Oh.
Bill and Ted movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, I've never actually seen that one. I'm fond of the first one. Never gonna see the Garfield movie, even though it has
Yeah.
Bill Murray. No, yeah, but it is actually very competently directed.
Yeah.
And it has some crazy actors in it, if you want to list off some of those.
Yeah, it's got Stephen Fry and Paul Giamatti. Those are probably the biggest names.
Ned Beatty. That's
Yeah.
a little more obscure, but that's the guy that got raped in Deliverance.
Yeah, yeah. Paul Giamatti did amazing, as always.
Yeah. You're just like, what's the
He
job?
always gives
I'm there.
110.
Oh, yeah, Keira Knightley was in it. But, like, in a really obscure fashion. I can't remember exactly what that was.
Yeah, she was there for like 2 seconds, I think. It was a cameo at best.
Yeah, and you're all like, wait, what? It's just like... But I gotta give credit to the Bruce Cook kid. He's a kind of a lovable fat doofus that farts a lot. He owns the role, and he's pretty good. I found him kind of lovable.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, whereas like pretty good actors were in Robot in the Family, and they were not lovable. They were awful. So props to Bruce Cook. I would have thought he'd act more, but he didn't. Rupert Grint is exceptionally punchable in this movie.
Oh,
Awful.
It almost broke me. Like, so,
Yeah.
he plays that nerdy character a little too well, like to the point that like I want to beat this kid up and steal his lunch money right now.
Oh yeah. Sometimes we put drinking games to our movies. Like, we even think of the rules, even if we're not drinking or whatever. And we're like, yeah, one of the rules in this movie is anytime Rupert Grint's character is punchable. And it's one of those, we're like, I don't know, are you sure? I want to be able to remember the night. He's just incredibly punchable. The plot, it moves at a brisk pace, and this is another thing we've talked about where, yeah, it's fucking stupid. There's maybe some silly acting or whatever, but the movie like moves along in a clip. You're like not bored by it. You're like intrigued even.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I got to give it credit for, moving along. I wasn't bored during it. I personally kind of really hate scatological humor. Like,
Yep.
there's any subject you can hit it from a certain angle, and I'll probably find it funny. It's just all on the approach. But like, yeah, that was kind of hard for me to get through. There's a lot of farts,
Yeah.
and just like,
Gets a little old after a while.
yeah,
I'm sure kids would find it just absolutely hilarious, though. So,
that is true. If you like got this for the kids, but I would fear that as a parent. Like, let's get my kid to think farts are like the funniest thing. Then just you might as well just be asking him to like run in the room and fart on you for like at least a month. Anyway, on to the next movie.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I got.
I think we covered Thunderpants.
Yeah, Thunderpants is yeah. What? So yeah, I will say that it's one of the better of the so bad they're good movies. So we then did a couple more Stephen King movies, and then we got onto something a little more serious, and that is Wag the Dog. I'll go ahead and read the premise of that. During the final weeks of a presidential race, the president is accused of sexual misconduct. To distract the public until the election, the president's advisor hires a Hollywood producer to help him stage a fake war. Now, this came out in 1997, and you can look this up yourself to get the specific details. I might get some of it wrong. But 1997 was right around the Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky sex scandal. And I believe this movie came out before that. But Clinton had always had sexual scandal stuff following him around, even when he was the governor of Arkansas. And so when this movie came out, the term wag the dog, maybe you can look that up while I'm finishing this, but in general, it's like, if the dog's in control of the tail, he wags his tail, but sometimes the tail could be in control of the dog, meaning like the advisor to the president, and then it's the tail wagging the dog, so wag the dog. And it's essentially the plot is they try to create a war panic or a fake war to distract from the scandal, like I was mentioning in the plot. And like literally like within about the same year, President Clinton did the exact same thing to like distract from the Monica Lewinsky scandal. And a lot of people pointed to this movie at the time like, holy shit, is he just doing the plot of Wag the Dog? Like, he bombed Iraq, did some bombing in Kosovo during that conflict, and that was kind of near the tail end of Clinton's term, which I do find interesting as somebody who pays attention to politics. It's like, I think some people younger than me didn't live through it, so they don't really remember, or they were too young. But I think even adults that are like boomers, I think sometimes they forget. It's like, no, yeah, like Clinton, while I think he did a pretty good job as president in terms of economics, you could argue about NAFTA and blah, blah, blah. We could get into the nitty gritty, but in general, kind of a solid president, but he was completely weighed down by being a fucking liar and a cheater. But, people on the left were like, well, we don't want fucking Bob Dole, or we just got done with like Reagan and George Bush Sr. Like, fuck no. Like, so maybe the left or Democrats defended Clinton too hard near the end, because some could argue that led to George Bush Jr. And then from there on, that's a whole new era of America, and that's another discussion. But it is interesting to have this movie made in 97, like Hollywood painting a negative picture of a Democratic president.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually having it like the government feel nefarious and evil, like that's kind of like a conservative talking point these days. But this is a little more casual, and it's just like, like sometimes the president might have to have somebody killed, and just be careful. But it's like very odd, but an interesting snapshot of a time in our country, as well as a pretty good movie. What did you think of it?
I thought it was, yeah, great. I mean, you can't really go wrong with the cast that they had. It was extremely well directed, well shot. By the same director as Rain Man.
Yeah,
Um, it, it yeah, it was great. Willie Nelson is in
yeah.
it for some reason,
Well, yeah,
which is
they have
great.
to write a song to like inspire the troops in the nation to go to war. So they hire Willie Nelson and all these other musicians to like sit in a writing room and like come up with something. And he ends up sitting there playing with this other blues musician that I can't recall, and they just like come up with this old boot song because they're gonna save a veteran that they just sort of made up called Boot, like Victor Boot or something. And like this old
Yeah.
boot, and then they record it, and then they age it to make it sound like it was just an old forgotten tune back from like the good old days, the 1930s.
Yeah.
And then people are
What I
all
liked
like I remember that song. I'm just like, no, you
mm,
don't.
what I liked about this movie, political movies like this, I mean, we've watched a few,
Hmm.
but they almost always center around like the people with the most power, like the president and stuff. The president's barely in this movie.
Yeah.
It's all the people behind the scenes that
Hmm.
are, fabricating these stories and spinning the news the way they want. And it I don't know. I found it a lot more interesting than just, conversations in the Oval Office.
Sure. I feel like when we've watched presidential movies, they tend to be a little more silly, which is fine. Like
Hmm.
when it's just like, oh, the American president is falling in love again after he lost his wife. Like, okay, like this is definitely more serious and like pretty dark in some ways.
Hmm.
Should mention that the advisors played by Robert De Niro and the Hollywood producers played by Dustin Hoffman, which that combination is pretty fucking awesome. I don't know
Oh,
if
they
they
do
had
fantastic.
ever been in another movie together. I
I don't
doubt
know.
it.
Hmm.
I don't
I
know.
can't think of one.
But I could see that, especially back in the 90s where star power kind of like sold a movie more than
Hmm.
IP or anything like that. It's like Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro. What are you gonna not see this? Like it's like holy shit! Like I do remember that as a little kid, just seeing those two. That was kind of the selling point. But I mean, yeah, it has Anne Heche, rest in peace.
Hmm.
Woody Harrelson, Dennis Leary, Kirsten Dunst as the what is the country they're invading in it? I'm forgetting.
Uh, uh, I don't remember,
It's like
and that's
East.
the whole point.
Yeah, it's
that's,
Eastern
that's the
Europe,
point of the plot.
like probably former Soviet bloc or something like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst. It's got to be one of her earliest roles. She just plays like
Hmm.
a war refugee. And she's like,
Hmm.
yeah, she carried a bag of chips, but they like superimpose a cat to replace the chips. It's got a lot of good stuff in it. It was like deep fake before deep fake.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's anything else to really point out other than it's a great ensemble, dark comedy. I mean, the history behind it, and it's just like its moment in the zeitgeist in relation to Clinton kind of elevates it into this really interesting space. But
Yeah.
I gave it 5 stars out of 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. 4.5 to 5. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I
I mean,
think
there's nothing that I
yeah.
can point to and be like, that didn't work.
It
So,
was a
yeah.
little slow for 5 minutes in the second act. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I tend to be generous with the star rating. So let's move on. The next movie is Three Amigos. And interestingly enough, I heard the guys in the Always Sunny podcast talk about this recently.
Yeah.
And it relates to kind of how we had talked about it. They were talking about how going back to old comedies, they were like revisiting them and showing them to their kids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, and then like Tommy Boy, Chris Farley, it really holds up. It's great. And then we watched some other ones, and I'm not going to mention them. And then after a little bit of poking and prodding, it's like, you got to give us some. Like, what is some that didn't work? And he's like, Three Amigos. And I heard it, and I was like,
Yep.
damn, yeah. Because it's like, I was excited to show this to our buddy Kelin, who does the music section with me. You probably know that by now if you started to listen. And I was like, Three Amigos. I grew up loving that. My family loved it. And that's been so long. And I think the last time I watched it, I was in my 20s, and it was pretty funny. Like, it was definitely a little dated then, but
Yep.
it's very dated now. Um,
Yeah.
it's three
I don't.
unemployed actors accept an invitation to a Mexican village to replay their bandit fighter roles, unaware that it is the real thing. Starring Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short. And all I will say before I hand it over to you to give your thoughts is there are some bits that still are funny. And they're like, hey, yep, that still is funny to me. But it's like so few and far between. Like where it's like, I think we laughed at a couple things and then it just goes on this dead, like just, there's just like, and it's like borderline racist.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, this simple little Mexican town. Like, oh, they don't get it, do they? And you're like, like you could still accept that it's just a small town in the middle of nowhere, so it ain't exactly like a Mexican thing. But like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Martin Short being Martin Short, I've never really enjoyed him. I've mentioned that. Chevy Chase being an asshole, like he always is. Some movies it works better than others, but he's kind of doing that '80s asshole thing that just has not aged well.
Yep.
And Steve Martin is Steve Martin, who's the most lovable one in it, I think. And yeah, man, I think the bad guy. Man, that's got to be Tony Plana. Then, or
Um.
maybe it's Alfonso Arau. Basically, the main bad guy and his main henchman, like they're funnier
Yeah.
than Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, or Martin Short.
Oh, their whole gang is much funnier. That's pretty much
Yeah,
the only parts that I found funny. I mean, the top three comedic actors that are leading didn't really get much of a laugh out of me the whole time.
yeah.
And I've seen this movie before. Like it used to be like a staple. Like people really
Hmm.
enjoyed this movie. My cousins really liked this movie. And I just yeah, it I have no desire to watch it ever again.
I feel like a lot of Mormons, like our age, that were like, yeah, we
Mhm.
were the kids, like that kind of age range, like love this movie because it is very safe, like,
Very.
but yet
Yeah.
it is also very like, oh, Mexico, oh. Like, so probably is like a good Mormon. You watch this and you feel like, yeah, it's kind of some iffy jokes, they get a little risque. Like you can kiss me under the veranda. And you're just like, lips would be fine. It's like one line that's like, oh, that's kind of funny still, but eh. Um, yeah. Shout out to the German guy. He's still kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just kind of more interesting than funny, really. Um, love the bartender. He's like, my little buttercup. Yeah, that's probably my favorite. It's like Goodnight Ned from the Turtle and My Little Buttercup is like the two funniest things in the movie to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to. So my rating, I like it because of its importance to me when I was younger. I probably don't need to ever watch it again. Um, and I thought about it. It's like, it's just like I'll give it 3.5 because I think at a time I would have given it 4 or man, if I was a little kid, I might have even given it 5.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a little about there. How about you?
Oh, I don't know, 3-ish.
Yeah. I mean,
Another fun little
3.5 is
fact.
kind of 3-point-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another fun little fact is the same director as the Blues Brothers, which is a much better film.
I've never
John
watched
Landis.
it. I know
Really?
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to add that to our list.
Yep. I know I know it's one of those classics. Another example is Raging Bull. I waited forever to see Raging Bull.
Yeah.
And to be honest, this is why I do this with some classics, because people love movies so much, which is what's great about them. But I watched Raging Bull and I was like, that's it? It's supposed to be one of Scorsese's best? Yeah, okay. It's pretty good. I didn't really even like it that much. I could tell it's very well made, well acted. And it's like, I don't know. I'll watch it again at some point. It's like maybe I kind of didn't connect with the point. Another one was Princess Mononoke.
I love that movie.
I posted that I'm going to watch this for the first time. And like over 50 people reacted to it and were just like, oh my God, this is going to change your life. I was like, easy. And I liked it. But I think I liked Howl's Moving Castle and what's the other one? Man, what's the other ones?
There's tons more. What?
Give me a couple of the main ones.
Kiki's Delivery Service, nope. Castle in the Sky, Spirited Away.
Spirited Away. Actually, I'm sorry. And that's how jumbled. I'm still very fresh to that. It wasn't Princess Mononoke. It was that last one you said.
Spirited Away.
Spirited Away. That was the one that was going to change my life.
Yeah.
And I've liked all of the movies. Like, don't get me wrong. I think they're great. But I liked Princess Mononoke and Howl's Moving Castle, like, way more than Spirited Away. But Spirited Away was the one that was supposed to change my life. So, anyway, long story short, I love comedy and stand-up and all this stuff. And I talk to people like, Blues Brothers, have you never seen that? And I'm like, I'll find the right time. Is there any other movies from him that are worth noting? John Landis, that's a name I feel like I should know more about.
Let me look through his IMDb really quick here. He was the director of Schlock, producer of Twilight Zone, the movie.
I already know he's the director of Schlock. What are the movies he's made? Kid.
Let's see if there's anything else. He's got 46 directing credits, so I mean he's directed quite a bit. Looks like a lot of them are TV.
Okay. Well, let's we're getting into movie time for our buddy Kelin. Not sure what we're gonna watch tonight, but you'll be hearing about it in the future. So let's do one more movie.
Okay.
That leads us to Dark Crystal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Dark Crystal, perhaps the most well-known movie out of the ones we've talked about.
Yeah.
I don't know if we really even need to do our little ranking thing at the end. Like, Dark Crystal's just gonna sweep, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like, I mean, Wag the Dog gets
great
close
movie.
If you're in a different sort of vibe, but
yeah.
I mean, Dark Crystal, I remember as a kid. Well, I'll read the plot real quick. It's on another planet in the distant past, a gelfling embarks on a quest to find the missing shard of a magical crystal and restore order to his world before the grotesque race of Skeksis find and use the crystal for evil. Came out in 1982, and I was born in 86. So this was just like ready to go when I was like not, too young. But as soon as they could, they showed it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's just an incredibly imaginative movie. Beautiful artwork, beautiful set design, creature creation, puppetry. I mean, music, and yeah, the story is pretty much straightforward fantasy, like some kind of fantasy tale.
Yeah.
Hero has to get from point A to point B with an item to save the world. Um, but it's yeah the thing that makes it is the creatures, the design, the love you can see put into the puppetry. Um, why don't you give me some of your thoughts on it? It's an easy 5 star for me.
Oh, easily. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Jim Henson, and I love Frank Oz as well. And he's there.
How
It's
many
just
voices did he do?
immaculately made. Who? Jim Henson? I
Frank
don't
Frank
know. A
Oz.
lot.
Frank
Frank
Oz.
Oz. I I wouldn't even know how to look that up.
Just what
A
roles
lot.
did he have in the Dark Crystal? I guess maybe they got that listed. But like, I mean, for those that
Hmm.
don't know, he's the voice of Yoda, voice of Splinter, I think, if I remember correctly. Um, but he's like, yeah, he's an interesting cat.
He played the Chamberlain and Agura, a keeper of secrets.
Oh yeah,
So only two, I
yes.
guess. It's the only thing he's credited for. But I mean, he was the director, co-director, I guess, with Jim Henson.
Pull up his IMDb real quick while I talk a little more about this. Like,
Frank Oz?
yeah, I want to know some of.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing a couple things because he's a really amazing guy to me. And then
Oh
you,
yeah.
you go on a Wikipedia rabbit hole, and then it's years later, and you forget some of it. But I
Hmm.
mean, Frank Oz, I feel like most people know him. Maybe younger people aren't as aware, but I think even younger people know Jim Henson still.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's worth mentioning they tried to reboot The Dark Crystal as a Netflix TV show, and I thought they did a pretty solid job with blending new CGI with the puppetry, and it still had like some inventiveness and a lot of beautiful stuff. And they tried to expand the story, but I don't even know if that like there's just certain stories that don't need to be expanded.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the
It
all
was
the
fine where
juice
it
is
was.
in one little berry, and you just get to have this amazing berry.
Yeah.
And it's they did the same thing with Willow. I'm not as in love with Willow as other people, but we tried to watch that Disney Plus version, and I was
Oh,
like,
it was god
ugh,
awful.
no. And it was funny
It was so
because
bad.
that's the whole thing, and that could be a conversation for some time to deeper dive into. Although I feel like a lot of movie centric podcasts kind of talk about it a lot, so it's kind of unless we have an interesting angle on it. But I was
Yeah.
reading the article where Willow gets canceled after one season. And then the comments are just like, oh, they're just going to cancel everything these days? Like, way to go, Netflix or Disney. And, like, people are like, oh my God, I love that show. How dare they cancel it? And I'm not like some fucking far right douche that's like afraid of woke TV and movies. Like, I was just like, I watch all the new Marvel and Star Wars and all that stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, I pretty much enjoy it. It's like Willow sucked,
Yeah.
and it's like because you could tell they didn't put the heart into it that the original movie has. Um, but in contrast, we've talked about Blade Runner 2049 before. I
Hmm.
think that has just as much love as the original, and it was really good. And people didn't watch that and didn't go see it.
Yeah. It
And
was a great
then
movie. I loved it.
you and I talked about Andor, and like, what the fuck? That's the one that's like taken the most serious and thoughtful. Not just serious because it's more adult, but just like character development and the writing and all of it. And not as people watched it, some people are like, yeah, it's boring. So I'll admit, I don't mean to add to the culture wars, but they're like, why did they cancel Willow? It's like, because it stinks.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
That's why. I'm glad they did. Shouldn't have even started it.
And I didn't feel like the Netflix Dark Crystal stunk,
Yeah,
but I
it
didn't
was
care.
serviceable.
I didn't finish
Yeah.
it. Did you finish it?
No, I don't think I did.
And you
It's one of
finish
those
stuff a
that
lot better than I do.
oh yeah.
Like I'll check
It's one of
out.
those that I watched like 3 or 4 episodes and I'm like, oh, I'll get back to this, and just never really did.
Just
And then when I heard it was canceled, then when it got canceled, I have absolutely no reason to see it anymore. So
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's just like this is. I guess this is how I'll wrap this up. Is The Dark Crystal is a perfect little movie that has 80s-ness all over it, but at the same time has timelessness all over it. Um, I think we were just taken with the film the other day when we watched it, just as much as when we were younger.
yeah,
Maybe even had more appreciation for it. Um, we did come up with a funny little, like, if you choose to watch this movie again and you've seen it a lot, you could just look at the Skeksis as the GOP. And then we were saying the one Gelfling's like Eddie Vedder, and the girl wants Taylor Swift, and they gotta save the planet from climate change. So they go and find Samuel L. Jackson, as played by Lizzo. Yeah, we had a good time. But it's an amazing movie, and it should be a reason to just be like, say you have a kid who's 8 years old, I don't know, something like that, and you're like, hey, let's watch Dark Crystal, and he's like, the one on Netflix, and you smack him across the face. You're like, no, the 1982 one, and then he's like, okay, Dad, just crying. Maybe you don't got to do all that. Just be like, hey, let's watch the old movie. And that should be that. You have to build older film appreciation in your kids.
yep.
Because my family didn't touch anything like 60s back, really. Unless it was like a rom-com, like Pillow Talk or something like that. Like my mom or my sisters would watch that. I'm like, no, I don't care about that. Just no love for the birds or Psycho or, I mean, all kinds of things you could. I guess my brother liked Dr. Zhivago. When did that come out? That was old, but maybe it was only like the 70s or something. Anyways.
65.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. It's about there. I saw the Willy Wonka. That's pretty late 60s or early 70s, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Dark Crystal wins this round.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like Mike Tyson. So there wasn't even a chance.
That's actually Frank Oz's first directing credit too. I didn't know that.
Oh.
That's his
Yeah, okay,
first
yeah, he
one.
directed it. I was just thinking of the voice.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it's
yeah,
it's co-directed, I guess. They give 2 directing credits, one for Jim Henson, one for Frank Oz.
makes sense. I mean, the guy that can handle the puppet should be mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah, you pretty much directed this. Yeah, I don't know. Wag the Dog's probably the runner up. I mean, we talked about
Yeah.
Thunderpants and yeah, Three Amigos. It's
Yep.
Dark Crystal. Boom. So I think that's it for this week. And so yeah, I'll talk to you next time.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right. Ta-ta! So, welcome back to the Jacob Wayne Show. This is the second segment of this week's episode. Normally, I like to do talking music into Chattin Movies, but we're going to do something a little special this time. Just got done doing Chattin Movies with Dan earlier, and then Kelin joined us, and we started to watch the new adaptation of Cats from 2019. And so, on the fly, I'm not sure how to set it up in the recording software, the OBS software, where I can hear the movie audio and then record, but then not have the audio on the recording to get copyright issues. We're not going to worry about that. Right now, the movie's still playing. We're at about 43, 42, 43, 44 minutes, seconds in. Judi Dench Cat just showed up. What's her name, fellas?
I don't even know. I don't
Okay.
know what's going on.
Old Deuteronomy, apparently.
Old Deuteronomy. So
What the?
we're gonna kind of like do a weird mixture thing. We're gonna watch this since I think all of us hate it on various levels to varying degrees, and we're like, "Fuck, do we just turn this off?" And it's like, no. Like, this is a little. If you wanted to bring it up, it's on HBO Max, and you guys want to pause it real quick? Maybe they can sync up with us.
Okay.
Yeah, let's pause. Okay, we'll pause here. I'm at 44 minutes and 35 seconds.
Yep.
Okay. So for those of you watching along, you can pull it up. It's at 44 minutes and 35 seconds. And if you give a shit about what we're looking at and reacting to, I can't hear the movie. Dan and Kelin can. So we're just going to review it and talk a little bit about it and some other things. And then if we hit some dead air, I'm just going to stop the recording. And then that'll be talking music for this week, because it's a musical, right? So, at 44 minutes and 35 seconds, what we do is a 3, 2, 1 play. So, you fellas ready?
Ready.
Yep.
3, 2, 1 play. And it looks like Judi Dench Cat has, like, she's laying down her authority through song.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like. I imagine it's like a heavy metal song or something playing right now.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. It's like a little more like didn't about me to around me.
Take a dude around me. Wait.
Take a mungo.
Isn't that like, is that from the Book of Mormon, or is that a Bible book? I don't even remember.
Take a mungo
Deuteronomy is in
Jerry
the
on my
Bible.
chest.
It's what, Dan?
Well,
It's in the Bible.
Bible.
Deuteronomy.
Okay. I can't remember.
yeah. I mean,
Which I'm glad. That brings me great joy.
yeah, that's in the Bible along with Mr. Mistopheles, Rum Tum Tugger, and Mungo Jerry. Remember, Mungo Jerry died for our sins. So, all right. So this
There's
movie,
like a lot of catnip going on right now. That's all I'm saying.
this is directed by. Where is his face? Name would be better. Tom Hooper, who before he directed this film, did some well-loved movies. He did The King's Speech.
Great movie.
Did another musical, Les Miserables.
Which is decent.
Yeah, I hear it's good for a musical, especially like musical to film. And The Danish Girl, which I don't know, it seemed like Oscar bait, but people seemed to like it the year it came out. That was 2015.
Is that about a girl that loves pastries?
I think it's about sexual transition.
Oh.
Yes.
Not cream cheese. Okay.
No. And he waited 4 years for his next movie. And that movie is Cats. And it's the only one in his filmography, according to Wikipedia, where he is credited as the director, producer, and writer. So we were asking ourselves earlier, like, how much control did he have on this production? And seems like he had quite a bit.
Well, he didn't write Cats.
No, but like the
Yeah,
in
why does he get a writing credit?
Probably the modern banter in between songs,
Yeah.
like the Rebel Wilson stuff. But I don't know. It's like Rebel Wilson. Just let her talk like Rebel Wilson. Like, well, you don't even need to write for her. But yeah, this is kind of a weird fever dream. There's rumors that there was a butthole cut where they had actually made CGI buttholes, like, you know, how cats perhaps present their buttholes. more
And
than
it's
most
like
creatures. It's like a thing they do.
50% of a cat, yeah.
And they, they apparently cut that. Might just be a rumor or whatever. And we were like, that'd be funny. And then I actually think the butthole cut might make this too disturbing.
Yeah. It's too weird.
It's already really just like, oh my, what the fuck?
Yep.
So let's go ahead and do a 5-star rating. I know we haven't finished it yet. We're about not even halfway through.
Well, like I said,
I don't think I need to finish it.
Taylor Swift's best work, 0 stars.
Yeah. I'll give it. Seems like a lot of effort went into it. I'm gonna give it 2 stars.
I'd give it like 1 leg of the starfish for if you just ignore everything else, listen to the track, the music's not like horrible.
1/5
cool.
of the first star.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
And that goes to Andrew Lloyd Webber compositionally, kind of.
So this is that's like a vendetta ranking.
Yeah.
It's like I got history with this motherfucker.
Oh no, I don't have any beef with Andrew. Just he's the only one that's getting anything for this movie.
I don't have any beef with Andrew.
Take this movie
just his content.
Yeah. Just however he did this. But,
no, but you see the markings on the floor right there? Like, how sweet would it be if that...
The cat pentagram?
Yeah, it's like a pentagram, and then suddenly... what's her face? I gotta look at this list. Old Deuteronomy is like Kevin Spacey from Seven, and then just like murdering all these cats for the various... Mm-hmm. Well, it would have to be 9 deadly sins, right? Like 9 lives.
Yeah. Or yeah, some demon cat, Beelzebubbles.
That was Bustopher Jones. I was like, was there what?
Bustopher?
Bustopher Jones.
Damn.
Jenny and adults. Mr. Mustopheles. That's the two that satanic.
Mustopheles.
Mustopheles. Deuteronomy. Mongo Strip. Bungo Jelly.
Really, it's actually free jazz, but yeah, that would be cooler.
This is the free jazz I fear. So, since if you're listening in your car or on your computer or just watching the YouTube without watching along, like, what's going on audio-wise in this right now? Did they just wrap up a song?
They just finished a song, soft piano, heavy breathing.
What was the hook on that one?
It's all crazy shit.
But cavity, there's a cavity, there's a cavity in your cat tooth.
I looked up what a jellicle cat is.
What is a jellicle cat?
It's a made-up cat. This is a made-up movie about made-up cats.
Oh.
Yep. T.S. Eliot wrote about it. So.
I see.
This is based off his book.
Was that a thing at the time? Like, people really... What are they talking about? Like, what's the deeper meaning to cats?
I think it means dear little cat.
And
a pillicle dog is a poor little doggy. Pillable? I don't remember.
Do you have it pulled up still?
Know too much.
When did Cats first come out?
Like the musical?
Yeah.
The first showing of the musical? Let me look that up. I looked that up separately. So I'll look at that.
Yeah, I'll stay on the movie Wikipedia for any tasty little tidbits.
1981. Jesus.
Wow. That's actually, I thought it was older than that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
9,000 performances. Just under.
Is there a ranking list there? Like, how close is that to the top of most performances?
I think Phantom still beats it, probably.
Oh, probably, yeah.
It's close. It's like planned to close now, but it's still running, I think.
Phantom of the Opera is like the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Musical. See, I'm trying to blend my sports-loving listeners with my musical-loving listeners.
Musical loving listeners. Oh man,
Um,
they need to write in. They need to write into the show. We need to.
yeah, like, hey, if you're
Let's,
both, like, let me know.
let's chat. Yeah.
That'd be fun if, like, they had, like, NBA started struggling for money and they just, like, we're gonna have cats night. Be like, oh, you're gonna let, like, the crowd dress up like cats? Like, no, you're gonna be the cats. And they're just on the basketball floor, like, dancing, but also, like, shooting. They're like, this is bullshit, man.
Uh,
You
Dude,
gotta
they
make
even
the
just-
basket. You gotta shoot the three before the clock runs out.
basketball cats. Basketball cats.
Basketball kids. You gotta
No,
shoot the three. You gotta let him cook his cooking.
Then one of them's over just like batting at the net.
Well, that's what a lot of centers do.
Yep.
But
Hey.
hey,
Uh,
the
Dude,
big man's coming back in the game. The big man's coming back. It's been an era of 3-point shooting in the guard, but we'll see. But anyway,
it's coming back.
yeah, we're talking about cats here.
Even if they just played in as cats, that would be fun. They don't even have to dance, but that would also be fun.
They're just standing there. There's oh, God damn it. It's like, oh, you're a Mr. McCavity, aren't you?
That shit would be super itchy.
Yeah, the referees try to like scratch him under the chin. Get the fuck off.
She looks like the cowardly lion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I
sad
much
she
prefer the Wizard of Oz.
gotta say, from running MI6 to this, like, man, M really fucking fell apart. So one interesting tidbit. When they were casting for this, there were reports that Anne Hathaway was considered for a role in the film, but she declined due to scheduling conflicts. But then it was offered to Hugh Jackman and for the role of Hooper, but he turned it down as well. So those two were in Les Miserables with the same director, and they both turned this shit down. They're like,
I'm not doing that shit again, especially not with buttholes.
yeah, I'm curious if they got along with them or if it was just like, no, I'm not fucking doing cats.
They read the script and were like, how? No. What is a jellicle cat?
It's like, can I be like Wolverine in it? They're like, no. He's like, well, I'm not doing it. Like I said, we gotta fill up the air here. As soon as we hit some dead air, it's over.
It's
Is there any like little
that's-
musical tidbits you can share with us, Kelin? Stuff you might know that we wouldn't know.
Oh, this is a pretty this is a musical. Just songs keep going. There's always like underscoring when they're not singing, they're talking, but there's something going on and keeps it moving. This is a really long solo. Very long.
This is the
thing.
Les Miserables shot.
Yeah.
They zoom in
This is
real
that
close
moment,
on her
yeah.
face and gets emotional.
Yeah.
This is just as emotional as the French Revolution. Wouldn't you agree?
Huh.
I mean, essentially, this is the French Revolution. Wasn't it a bunch of cats just dancing around?
Well,
I kid.
maybe.
I kid. I love the French Revolution. All those beheadings.
Good times.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is
I like this movie
so,
with a lot more with the volume turned off.
yeah, I can see that.
Now it just
Imagining
seems like they're
whatever.
talking. Like, maybe there's good dialogue right here.
Nope, they're singing. I like the funky tunes; they're pretty cool, except for the lyrics.
Sure.
Like there's some funky lines, some ripping little bass parts. I have one really bad guitar tone, but the solo wasn't bad.
So I guess I got a couple, perhaps lead to discussion type questions for you, Kelin. One. I got one. Yeah, I'll start with this one. in the musical community, like people that are in musicals, this and that, you've gotten to experience a bit of that. What is the
Yeah.
reputation of Cats amongst those folks?
You know what? I've never really.
It's not the go-to like, oh,
It
fucking
hasn't.
Cats.
No, definitely not that. I've never heard anybody badmouth it, but I've also never heard anybody be like, "Well, Cats is the best ever." So,
I've definitely seen it mocked outside of the musical community, like just whether it's like Simpsons or South Park or whatever. Like it's a go-to, like that's a weird ass musical. There was like great there's that great joke in Team America World Police where he's like, I was raped by Mr. Mistopheles.
uh,
It's like why the guy hates actors because he loved actors and musicals, and then they took him backstage to Cats and all the
oh
cats.
yeah, yeah. Jesus, yeah,
Ian, why did you
nice.
decide to
Yeah.
do this?
It's like, what was it? Man, I can't remember which names he was like. But Stuffer held me down while Rum Tum took it. Just stood by and laughed. Skimble Shanks and Mungo Cherry were just sitting there spitting at me.
I totally forgot about that. Well, yeah,
Hey,
now
Gandalf.
if I watch that, yeah,
So is he saving it?
no,
Judy
No.
Dench didn't save it.
nobody can save it. I don't.
Fucking if anybody can save it, it's Ian McKellen.
No, he's not a good singer.
Oh, he's just not even. Oh, so he's singing right now.
He's trying.
Yeah, it's a musical, dude.
Well, hey, you
They're
know
all
it.
singing
It's not
always.
musicals all the time. You know that. Don't try
No,
to
they,
do that with me.
no, this one is pretty. They seem like they're mostly are. Even if they're talking, they're like hitting one note or something. It's weird.
Talk singing.
Yeah.
Like not taking a break. Well, it was like
Yeah.
West Side Story.
This is
There's
from
plenty of
Bowery.
like little discussions in between songs.
Yeah. Certain eras of musicals went very little dialogue. It's interesting.
Bad idea.
Oh yeah.
I think even in even if you love musicals, it's like you need a break. Like that's why Disney
Yeah.
musicals are pretty solid.
Yep.
It's like set up the next
I've-
song a little bit.
Well, that's how Shucked was so good, is because it's like comedy scene song, comedy scene song, like pretty much all it is.
Yeah.
Never gets too, you know, like over romantic or anything. It's really
Yeah.
like people are saying it's pretty similar to Book of Mormon in just like the comedy flow,
Yeah.
nothing else. But
Well, and I mean, yeah, that kind of functions like a Disney musical.
yeah,
It's like, yeah, there's a scene establishing stuff, and then either a character jumps in and that's their introduction, or they talk for a minute and then they tell you something about themselves or the story.
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely what I prefer. Like, fucking, like, whatever it is, like, which one's older? Like, just music through the whole thing? Is that, like,
That definitely has come from like yeah, opera. So I'm pretty sure that was the first style, and then I'm sure there's some that stepped away from that in varying degrees. So
yeah.
but,
But I mean, it's already kind of hard to accept, like, a scenario where people are breaking out into song, like, while they're living their daily lives. And so I feel
Yeah.
like the thing to, like, kind of ground you in the reality of it, so then you can leave it for the song, it's like, that's nice. If it's musical the whole way through, and they're kind of, like, sing-songing while they're eating porridge, it's just like, fuck you. Nobody does that.
yeah. I hate like when people try to converse singing. Yeah, it's just weird.
I guess I'll go check the mail. It's just like,
Yeah, it's just yeah, just Yep, but the modern musicals, I think, do a good job of that. I think they kind of try to address that more than some of the other old ones, whether they had dialogue or not. But,
Now, this is a question for both of you. Um, if I said, you're not saying this publicly in this, public square. I think this movie sucks, but the reason I think it sucks is that they're not doing a musical about cats right. So I want to make a musical about a cat, but it is like an actual cat,
yeah,
and then it's like the songs actually have lyrics that have to do with being a cat or a cat in human society. Like, and it's like you could follow the lyrics, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like I have to scratch, I can't help but scratch the things around me, like, and you
Fuck
could
the
be like,
couch.
lean into it. Could the whoever owns the rights to Cats sue me for making a musical called Cat?
I'm sure they tried to.
They would immediately be like, "You're no."
Well, is it Cats the musical? And then you call it the musical Cat, and then it's totally different.
What if you call it Kitty?
Felinus domesticus.
Or Meow?
There you go.
Meow, the musical.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if like fans of cats and the owners of cats. No, that's
Fuck
our
you.
fucking turf.
We did the cat musical. I don't know. Well, I hope you're the only other one that makes one.
Well,
Like,
maybe
hopefully there's not too many copycats.
that'd be. Hey, what if you called it Copycat?
Oh,
And you're like, what?
there you go.
And then it's like, no, it's a cat that like his owner works in like a print shop. And it's so the copycat, like, and then it's a little like Ratatouille, but instead of like him being a chef, he makes like copies of stuff.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, this movie could have been like just filmed a bunch of cats attempted to get like the shot with a bunch of real cats and done like Homeward Bounded it, just like voiced over. That would have been funner.
That would have been better. I was just imagining them like having this insanity, but occasionally just
like
cutting to
10
stock
cats.
footage of cats. Just, it's like,
Wow.
here's a Captain Petty. That's definitely the Petty cat, by the way. I can't even hear it, but I can hear it,
Yeah. He's doing a tap solo. That's how you know.
Yeah.
Every tap solo has this, the slow speed up. I
Well,
wonder if this
that's
is
how
what
they
the
get you, right?
SpongeBob musical's making fun of. Yep. This
If-
is like Squidward's song in the SpongeBob musical. It does this exact same thing. The
Like,
drums just kicked in time with his taps.
oh boy.
Oh, shit. This is honestly probably the coolest thing that's happened so far, really. It's not like so amazing, but it's pretty cool. Oh god, that cat's about to bone.
What if, one person just got up to tap and they just did it slow the entire time? They get booed off stage.
No, you have to go real fast taps.
Speed it up. Come on. People need their fix. Yeah, that's some hot tapping to speed it up, yeah.
Why did they're outside now?
This is one of those moments that they talked about in the drinking game where it's like, wait a minute, how big are these cats exactly? Like, because they look super tiny for the railroad.
Sometimes, yeah.
But then, yeah,
They
get
go
on
all
some
over the
furniture
place.
and
That
they're
is
like,
true.
they're filling up quite a bit of that bed.
I know. And then that last room, they were huge. Yeah. And now they're like miniature.
Yeah. If only we had the butthole cut to properly measure things.
And see, in that shot, they would be like 10 feet tall. What the fuck?
Indeed.
Yep, we need the those map legend butthole.
Yeah, just like the Zack Snyder DCEU. Save it. It's so good. Trust me, it's good, bro. Rumple Teaser's probably the best name out of all of them.
Yeah, that sounds like a sex toy.
Mm-hmm. You ain't taking care of your lady unless you get her the Rumple Teaser.
Can't find a man, try the rumple teaser.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am running a little low on things to say about this fucking movie.
This is, this is the thing. I don't even want to know how much money they spent on this. Could have gone to so many better
things.
things.
Sorry, you plug your ears because
I'm looking it up because it's just gonna.
Oh, I got it. I got it already. If you're ready.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Budget. This is interesting. It says budget 80 to 100 million. Usually
just estimated, yeah,
estimated. Box office was 75.5.
I'm glad they lost money.
Yeah.
Somebody should have to pay for this.
They lost a little less than $5 million.
Man.
Do you think they tied James Corden up at the end of it and just whipped him? It's bad, James Corden.
I don't think it was his fault.
Oh, I blame him. Who's the worst cat? I guess we could do that. I just don't like James Corden, but I think the worst cat so far is Rebel Wilson.
Yeah.
Jenny Anadot's the Gumby cat.
Oh,
hey, that's the best part. Catnip bottle, weird thing.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, freak out. Oh, and that's Taylor Swift. She just showed up.
Oh, weird. I'm glad I didn't realize. I have no idea who any of these, but anybody is.
So Taylor Swift
Is the drug
drugging
bringer.
her audience so they'll enjoy her show.
Well, that makes sense. That would actually that would resolve a few issues I've had. In the musical I just did, one of the keeps going around asking the kids what they like to listen to, and somebody's like, Taylor Swift. He's like, go to the corner. And I'm like, yeah.
I would rather watch Suburban Sasquatch than this.
Dude, what is Suburban Sasquatch? That sounds killer.
We can watch it sometime.
I've seen Rural Sasquatch, The Legend of Boggy Creek, but
yeah,
that's a great bad movie.
I would love to show you Suburban Sasquatch. I don't think I could talk these guys into watching it again.
Nice.
Dan, would you watch that again for Kelin?
I guess.
I mean, now that we've done Cats, it's like, okay, it's not so bad.
We gotta watch a good movie in between, but yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we'll do some Coen Brothers. Like, I know this is really close to the Coen Brothers.
Bite your tongue.
Sorry, this is being all sassy like a cat.
Meow.
Meow, you two. Meow. Nah, but we need to do Ben and Arthur. I'm excited to watch that one. Oh yeah, it's the catnip. I was like, what's going on? Oh yeah. Like, is the song communicating what's going on at all?
Not really.
No. But also, I have been completely lost from the start. Like, I've been trying to listen and pay attention, but I like to at points, and I just can't. I just don't understand. I'm just like, whatever.
This has a quality, and I wonder if it'll be like remembered as such. Like that, this and maybe that's why Chad from Dudesy watched it so much, is it feels like a movie made by AI. Like it didn't quite understand how to make a good movie. And it's just like this kind of CGI, weird CGI, odd proportions, lyrics that don't make sense. And it's just like, yeah, like, okay. Like, if it was CGI generated, I think we'd all be, or I mean, AI generated, we'd all be more fascinated. We'd be like, wow. But this is right at the tail end of the human era. It's like, the humans got nonsensical, the AI had to step in and do it properly.
Huh. But weren't they all wearing like clothes earlier?
Well, I mean, they got the catnip out, so
I guess so.
I mean, yeah, Taylor Swift, Idris Elba. Who wouldn't ship them?
I know.
In case you guys didn't know, that's a new term. If you want two people to be in a relationship, you ship them. Oh, I would totally ship those two.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
Just making sure we're all caught up on.
I did. That was a new one for me.
Okay,
but I also,
I only learned it like maybe this last year. Maybe about a year ago.
Yeah.
I learned about it by going into the Stranger Things subreddit. And people are like, oh, I totally shipped those two. I'd ship those two. Definitely not shipping those two. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then they're like, oh, okay.
Oh, like when they all had like jobs in the restaurant, so they called everything bussin'. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. So without the audio on, it looks like Taylor Swift was trying to fuck Idris Elba, and Judi Dench is like, not unless I fuck him first. And then they just disappeared
pretty
to
close.
go have a threesome.
Yeah, Idris Elba's magic.
He can handle both
weird.
of us.
Eh.
I mean, okay, and then that's Idris Elba's doing the best job out of everybody, right?
I mean, they're trying. Everybody's trying.
Everybody's attempting to act like a. I don't know. They're not trying to act like a cat. I guess I don't know what they're.
He's the most trying to be like, I'm a cat. I'm trying to be a cat.
Yeah. Kind of hunched over and stuff.
Yeah, and he's like baring his teeth. And Judi Dench is just like,
she's
I'm
gonna
doing the cowardly lion. Like he's
gonna walk the plank. Yeah, dude, you don't want to swim in the Thames. That shit's full of shit.
Taylor Swift looks the most like her human form out of all of them. Actually, oh yeah, it's just Taylor Swift.
Nice.
It's another one of her weird videos, I guess.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. That's about cats, man.
We should perhaps do this again with other. I don't know where to put them. Like cultural phenomenon films that are just like bad, but not funny bad, just bad.
Yeah.
But like everybody, it's like it's in the zeitgeist. Or maybe we do other musicals and I figure out how to hear the audio. But not put. I don't know. Maybe it's a one-time thing. It's just fucking cats. I figured it's weird enough.
What else is in the zeitgeist as much as cats?
Yeah, I don't know. Dogs?
Maybe Les Miserables, honestly.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like Les Miserables seems to have like a little more respect or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
No, I like the musical and the book and I don't know about the movie, but yeah.
You know,
all I know about that is I tried to pass the whole year's worth of reading points in like 8th grade. I
Yeah.
tried to just take the test for Les Miserables because it was like 28 points and you needed 20 for the whole year. It's like I
Wow.
could get all it done in one thing. I bet I can fake it. I
Yeah.
couldn't fake it.
Uh,
It was a hard quiz. The
wow.
librarian's like, it's like you didn't even read this book. I was like, yeah.
Excuse me?
What if you're exactly right? You didn't say you can't try.
That's right. This one might have a different reaction, but I tried to watch, what was that new musical that was really popular? It just slipped my mind.
West Side Story?
No, new is new.
But like due to the
Like, yeah, like a new musical.
Hamilton?
Yeah, Hamilton. Yeah, because in my head I was like, Washington, Jefferson, Hamilton.
Polk?
I tried to watch the one that they did for Disney Plus with Neil. We had to turn that shit off. Like I thought it was awful.
Yeah.
Like so, and like this doesn't make me cringe. This is like, what the
that
fuck?
Is,
like
the whole you were saying, people don't break into song. That one's like the worst for that feeling of like this is totally unbelievable.
Well, it's like we'll have African Americans playing the founding fathers, and they'll rap the history of the American Revolution, man. So it's like they're all trying to be like hip. And it's just like, this is fucking like making me cringe so bad because it's like an insult to rap and hip hop and an insult to history, and it's like insulting everybody. And it's just like, oh my god, why does everybody think this is cool? Like really bad douche.
Finally, some rap I could get behind.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's mom. Yeah. I hate to say it, but when I was working at the after school program up in Seattle, there's a lot of moms that were like, we went and saw Hamilton. And it's like,
that was life changing.
Oh, no. And like, the kids liked it because kids like shit. I don't think it takes too much to make them be like, yeah, Hamilton was cool. They were rapping. But I guarantee you, every one of those kids that was in my group, like, hey, you're 16, 18 now, like whatever, let's watch Hamilton. I never liked that. I never watched it once. And I'm like, I remember you when you were in like 2nd grade thinking Hamilton was pretty cool. And they're like, no, I didn't. I never fucking said that.
That was my mom.
It's my mom, I swear to God.
Dude, it's and any musical you go see on stage is like, especially like at the level Hamilton is still touring at, is gonna be like amazing in some way. Like some part of it's gonna be really cool, but like the show is gonna be cool. Like so, yeah, kid would totally be into it. But.
Well, yeah, like it's the same general feeling I have about movies. Is it's like even this, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of work that went into this catastrophe.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like you have to. Oh, cat! I didn't even realize it. Man, I didn't even think about it.
Got one in there. You've been hanging out with me too long.
I just don't even think about it. You have to become the pun. You don't even know you're doing it. No, but like, yeah, there's plenty of people that worked on this that worked their ass off and deserve respect. And in the same way, it's like people that really commit to doing a musical or a play, like take skill and efficiency and timing and all this stuff. At the end of the day, it might still be a cringe fest.
Indeed.
Like, I don't know. Maybe we should do Hamilton one day. I don't know. We'll have to wait a while. Maybe we'll do once a month or once every 2 months or anytime there's like something like that in the zeitgeist, like a Hamilton, a Cats.
Yeah.
All right. This is going to be kind of cringe or kind of bad, but we'll just go through it like this.
We could get the forbidden Will Smith cut where every time they do a song in Hamilton, it just cuts into in West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh,
Hold on.
hold on, dude.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
There we go. Forgot we
Yeah,
had that
yeah.
in Discord now.
Yeah, you guys got all kinds of good ones in here.
Yeah, I need to
Nice.
get on top of that.
Dude.
Well, I guess the final. I guess I could say that a little bit about the Will Smith thing. Is so a movie I would have said like this is just so bad. And I wonder if you guys like it, like Wild Wild West.
Dude, again, like
Yeah.
that's probably what you were saying. Like as a kid, I was like, yeah. But I have not seen it in so long. I'm sure if I watch it now, I'd be like, what?
Maybe we should watch that one though, because I was like, at the time I was like 13, so you're trying to be cool. Like,
Yeah.
man, I watched Independence Day, but I don't know. Like Will Smith is just he's lost it, man. Like, why isn't he doing like R-rated movies where he's shooting people and there's like a lot of titties in the movie? Like that's just kind of where I was at. So it's like now I know the insane producer that was behind Wild Wild West, and
Yeah.
it is just a crazy fucking movie. Like I remember clips.
I like
So,
the other
yeah.
guy more than Will Smith in it.
Oh, what's his name?
What's his name? Yeah, I can't remember.
Wasn't he the guy in the King's Speech?
Yeah,
No. Is it?
maybe. I don't know.
We're gonna find out.
Let's look it
That'll
up.
be crazy, dude. Colin Firth is in King's
Really?
Speech. Let's check
Oh,
out his
it's not him.
filmography. It's not.
Kevin Kline.
Oh, Kevin Kline is the poor man's Colin Firth.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
true.
strongly about that. But no, yeah, like I don't know. Maybe one day we watch. Are they doing cat fights?
Yeah, sorry, I had to do the cat, recreate the cat
Sorry, I
noise.
was looking at the information about this
Your
movie.
cats. I'm not even. I'm looking at something else. I just heard it.
So Gandalf just let him off the edge, and he's like, "You shall not swim."
I think it was Ian McClellan kicked some ass.
Good for him.
Yeah.
But yes, we should watch Wild Wild West and see how it holds up for all of us.
Indeed.
Wiki
Wiki wow.
get
Wiki
Neil
wiki
on that
wow.
one. I bet he'd enjoy that viewing experience.
Indeed.
Um,
Well, let's do it.
we'll have to do Hamilton sometime. That I'll have to figure out how to hear the audio, but not, that whole thing.
Headphones?
Maybe. Yeah, I'll look into it. Because I feel like
Yeah.
I need to hear Hamilton a little more than I need to hear Cats.
Yeah. I think that's mostly what it is.
Yeah. But
Yeah, we can try it.
And the final question is, are we going to finish this movie?
No, let's turn it off.
I'm down.
All right. With
I
that,
totally forgot. Here's the in review of Cats. The final word is,
What the hell is even that?
and there we go.
that is true. Wait a minute. Let's milk a little bit more out of this. I don't know if I got anything. Oh, do you hate cats?
Yes.
Yep.
This entire
Indeed.
movie?
Daddy, chill.
But I'll be honest. Taylor Swift and Idris Elba looking at each other.
Naughty! Naughty jungle of love!
Yes.
Hell yeah.
That guy?
I'm Cuban B! Yes, Cuban B!
All right. Yeah, so we are turning off this movie at 1 hour and 27 minutes.
We're out.
That's how much we give a fuck about
We
what's going
we
on.
made it 3/4 of the way and still don't have any idea what's happening and don't need to finish.
We made it a lot farther than I thought we were going to until I was like, wait, this is gold, Jerry, gold.
We could use this.
We could use this. It's a movie about nothing. All right. I'll talk to you guys next time. Y'all have a good one.
Later, y'all.
See it.
Bye. Thank you for listening to The Jacob Wayne Show. If you would like to contact us, please write us at fakkoshka@gmail.com. That is FAKOSHKA@gmail.com. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Simply search The Jacob Wayne Show and it should pop right up. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. Please write us. It helps add content to the show and makes the show even better for you, the listener. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the